You are now listening to Conscientization 101, an online magazine combining reflection, music, and action through independent media.
I think that the only way that we're going to realize freedom, justice, equality, decent living for people is if there's a complete change. Everything has got to be turned around, and that's a revolution. It's a revolution.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Conscientization 101 podcast. I am your host for this episode, Zari Sundiata, and we wanted to let you know that this is the last show for the year. And we know it's a sad thing, but we're going to be working on some really cool stuff for next year. So, we're not going to be gone. We're going to still be posting videos and adding books to the library. But as far as new and original content coming from C101, that will be back early next year. So we're going to let you know all the details of the upgrades also. So we'll be around to give you updates on that. And we'll be doing research, interviews, all that good stuff. So this is not a break, but you won't hear from us until next year. That being said, we're going to go out with a bang for this episode because it's a really good show. We will be featuring excerpts from an interview we did. Well, I would like to call it a conversation, or better yet, a family reunion, as the title states, with the UK-based hip-hop collective RU1 fam. This conversation, this family reunion, went over 90 minutes, so that's how real it is, okay? And since this is the last show for the year, we're also going to go a little bit over our usual hour time. Give y'all a treat, okay? So having said that, let's give you a little bit more about RU1 Fam so you can know who they are.
RU1 Fam is a UK-based hip-hop collective whose backbone members are producers No Name Beats and MCM. Also lyrical MCs Iras Danjadan, Watusi87, Magical, Hunter Pro, Mercury, aka Tahuti, and Sonorous. RU1 Fam grew up in the 90s music era, absorbing themselves into many genres such as hip-hop, soul, reggae, funk, and especially the UK music scene from drum and bass, jungle, house, and garage, and grime. During the late 90s and early 2000s, their passion for music saw them utilize UK house and G and grime with dirty beats and lyrics to back it up. The backbone for RU1 Fam have been connected for many years, some more than others, being in different music collectives, getting recognition, and each owns ends. As the life cycle is always turning, each member has improved and upgraded each other's flows, lyrics, instrument playing, and beat making, whilst adding live music performances to their resume. Joining forces in early January 2012 has enabled members of RU1 Fam to express themselves in music, film, written, and spoken word. Known as well-equipped revolutionary lyricists, RU1 Fam have developed into a movement spreading a one love and unity consciousness to the people through music and natural vibes. RU1 Fam's in-depth perceptions of reality create a thought-provoking, heartfelt expression of word, sound, and power. RU1 Fam's iconic phrase, "We say, are you one? You say, I am one," is a phrase of passion and unity that is heard echoing throughout the streets of the concrete jungle. This phrase brings together all and has been gaining speed since RU1 Fam's inception. RU1 Fam is a growing community with many other affiliates of the fam, which include players of instruments, social activists, community leaders, and media designers, to name a few. Together as one, the RU1 Fam strive to promote positivity as they interact with all those they encounter on a grounded, down-to-earth level. RU1 Fam is essentially a music collective, but on a wider holistic scale, it also forms a conscious organization that's main aim is to promote the coming together of the ones. As they say, to unify is the only way to sustain in this new age. Since the coming together of the ones, the main focus of the movement has been to connect the dots, and the vibration has been pushing them towards conveying the message live and direct to the people. This being the case, the lyrical members of the fam have continuously worked to develop their performance and hosting abilities, and have also worked with some exceptional instrumentalists to create a strong live sound. Subsequently, they have fulfilled their aspirations and have been delivering soul-stirring performances at various venues in and around London.
Okay, so now that you know a little bit more about RU1 fam, we're going to go ahead and start with the dialogue that we had with them, which was well over 90 minutes. And we'll give you details on how to get the entire interview at the end of the show. And we also want to let you know that when we had three members on the show, and we were getting a little bit of a feedback, a microphone loop. And so when they introduced themselves, the feedback started happening. So so you can decipher who you're listening to and who's talking, we decided to do a little something like this.
Iros, Danja, Dan.
To recognize a destiny will energize your energy. Happiness and victory be spoken by divinities. I tap into the frequency and answer with my enemy. No misery or fear in me when dealing with impurity. Spirits be healing me, the purity of ecstasy cleaning me. Exploring my chemistry, I'm storing the heritage. Mentally concealing weaponry and alchemy of recipes that balance me endlessly. Bless the gift of serenity when sin city preeing me. I'm not listening to enemies. Many be wicked with jealousy. My kingdom is heavenly. Look upon the tapestries before the most tragedies. There weren't four walls trapping me. I was portal traveling, immortal Africans. Yeah, the force is empowering like 1,000 soldiers on horses battling.
Watusi, 87.
Yo, never really saw myself on a rapping flex. Used to watch the MCs at the house and garage sets. Infatuated by the energy they bring and their presence on the mic as the melody would bang. What happened next? In my memory, a sound that plays loud used to be the lick them times, but now it's played out. Soaking in all these flows like coastlines, explored my mind, I would soon write my own rhymes. Then grind came, and we all wanted a piece of it. Tried to get our name on the streets a bit, cause we could spit. It turned into a seedy pit of greasiness. Shout out to the MCs that's always been equipped with leadership. Although the game's like a sitcom lately, I've always been a hip-hop baby. But Elon, because it seems we can't change stance, as there's no life where we used to freestyle and break dance.
And last but not least, Mercury, aka Jehuti. Hey, I get to do it also like you, Logic. Yo, Mercury, talk to him, fam.
It's 12:30, gotta get to my destination by 3. I don't wanna turn up late around 4. I need to fix up, swear my timing's poor. Now I'm in a rush, feet stomping the floor. How many numbers on the clock? I think there should be more. What is time anyway? What's it really for? I'm jumping on the bus, lady standing by the door. So I helped her with the bags that she left on the floor. There's no need for a round of applause. I help when I can, truly I should do more. Time's gone fast and I'm almost there. Jumped off the bus, felt cold in the air. Got a text asking me, are you there? Making up for lost time that I found. No matter what the time is now.
Okay, so you know who the three people on the line are? Let's get into the show. So we wanted to talk about the song from We Are One, the song From the Corner, because it's kind of in line with that question. You know, when we look at this track specifically, you know, y'all talk about y'all's experiences in hip hop and how you developed as a group and as individuals, you know. And many times, like we were saying, it's like a common misconception that, you know, if you're talking about hip hop that's conscious, and we put that in quotes because, you know, it's just telling the truth, you know. So that label that label is already trying to put somebody in a box and marginalize, you know what I mean? So, but when you have music that's truthful, and then people tend to say, well, the message is the most important. Well, the message is important. It's really important, but the quality is also important. The mix, the production, all that is important, and y'all have mastered that, you know what I mean? And so when you think about also independent artists, you have to actually have skill, you know what I mean? Because people in the mainstream, they have big budgets, they have ghostwriters, they got people to style them, they got people to manage their schedule and all this other stuff. But, so a lot of times they may not even really have any real skill, So it's just amazing, the work that y'all do. And so we just wanted to ask, like, what is y'all's like creative process? Like, how do you maintain those skills and like stay accountable to each other and all that good stuff?
All right, this is the last microphone feedback we're going to have for the rest of the interview. Mercury starts off to answer the question. That's Jehudi, a.k.a. Jehudi, by starting off by saying that he was born in 86. So being born in 86, he grew up listening to, so about 10 seconds into that, the audio, the microphone, no more reverb coming from the microphone or loop feedbacks. We're going to be good to go. So after this, just sit back and enjoy the rest of the interview with RUM fam and us. Thank you for your patience. Peace.
I was into your Method Mans, your Snoop Dogs and whatnot, your Public Enemy, EPMD and yada yada. So I was that in front of the box, MTV, video cassette and recording this video to that. My uncles were in groups. My uncle was in a band called Aswad and another band called Eye Level. So I was around it from young. I kind of always enjoyed music. Same with my friend here, Watusi. Obviously, we later on started doing music when we were teens. But all from that up until the garage scene, where the beats were like double tempo and fast, bit of kind of spitting or rapping or whatever you want to call it, which kind of derived from Jamaica. From garage, it got to grime, right? Grime kind of evolved from the garage scene, which you were all a part of. Yeah. That's when we had like 15, 20 guys in one camp and, going around to a friend's house, 2 decks and just passing the mic run and sparring, bars and yada, yada, yada. But we're always rapping at the same time too. Not many people were doing that over here. And especially not many people were doing it with a British accent too. Mm-hmm. So it got to a stage where me and Watusi, I'm linked up with a guy from our area, Labrador Grove, called Nathan Subs. His dad's actually Ashib. I don't know if you've heard of the African Revolution. A band, anyway. It's a big collective band in London that we're also a part of.
Okay.
We more or less
linked up. I think I've seen it on social media or something.
Check them out. I mean,
I think I have.
Grassrootsy, reggae-ish, dub-ish, blues, jazz, hip-hop, all of that in one. Afrofusion, all of that in one. So we linked up with our friend's dad, who more kind of like homed us in and brought us in, and we started recording more with him. Him being an elder when gone through the industry, do you know what I mean? And just, woke up to so much that was going on. He was in the original lineup of the band Misty and Roots. But, a few things happened. So we had good mentors, I would say, from our mid-teens, towards now, really even. So yeah, I would say just the people around us that guided us and more or less, showed us certain things, whether it just be thinking critical or just consciousness or whatever. Because we all come from families that were either Ras, African, Caribbean, that were just rooted in their, in their culture or whatnot. Mm-hmm. So the elders around us definitely helped give us more direction. But we all had it in us. We definitely even when we were making music, we never made anything like negative or, do you know what I mean? Maybe it was a bit hype.
When it was grime, the whole essence of grime, I'm a hip hop baby.
Yeah.
So, but I wanted my voice to be heard, and no one wanted to hear hip hop. Everyone wanted to hear grime.
Exactly.
So that's how I got into grime. And it's all about being aggressive. It's all about portraying this story that no one can fuck with you, basically. And whether it's lyrically or like physically or not really, it's not really a spiritual thing. So we coming from that and kind of coming into the kind of maturity of kind of knowing that this kind of thing is not true to us. It might be true to us, aspects of us, but that's not what we want to be promoting. And kind of the elders kind of homed us in and gave us certain challenges, like try write without swearing, try write without saying the word, try. So that's kind of how we critically got to think about our creative process during music. And me and Tahuti had that kind of from earlier than probably the rest of the man or most people we know who do music and things. So that's kind of what we bring to the table collectively and kind of creatively. Now, when it comes to us writing now and creating in the process, a lot of the time we like to, when we write, we're all kind of introspective. So we like to zone out and be with ourselves. So someone sets the concept, someone sets the formula, the structure, or we just go from a chorus. We have a chorus. Everyone knows what the chorus is about. Everyone knows how to interact with the chorus. Or we just make it free flowing and spiritual.
I was just going to say, I would say a fair share of the time we more or less just feed off the beat vibe. I mean, we might ask, so what have you got? Yeah, but more time, like when we're in the studio together, it's like there would be some kind of feeling or vibe in the air where you just know to leave everyone and their pen and pad alone. Just whatever they do come up with, and at the end, like guaranteed all those verses or whatnot together will relate and correlate somehow. So yeah.
From the corner, it's interesting you brought that up. That's my favorite track on the album.
Yeah.
And the way that one came about is that me and Mercury, we was in the studio with the producer, and we was like, for this album, we can go a little bit deeper and tell the truth about us. Like we know we can write, we can rap, but let's be a bit more truthful about our story. And from that, we kind of conversated a lot, and we got infused by the conversation so much that what came out was that, and was quite proud of it at the time. And it's just set off something, and then when you get into the thing where it's like, all right, cool, the Dungeon needs to be there, Magical needs to be there, and that's how it is. Whoever does the first verse, or whoever kind of has the initial idea, they kind of get the kind of privilege of kind of like structuring the thing. Yeah. Not solely, but that's kind of how it naturally works for us. Like it's like if Meshach's doing Jahuti's doing something, it's not like, all right, look what I can do. It's like man's gonna bounce off what he's doing,
right?
And so on and so forth, and vice versa.
Yeah, I like I'm thinking Royal Living, and I'm thinking about the production for the album was Last Resort, right? And I think it was funny because I think it was Mercury. I think it was you. You said, "Let Last Resort take you to the tropics" or something like that. I was like, man, this whole man, I be feeling the whole. Man, it's like I said, man, it's an experience, man. It's like, I mean, y'all got some, man, y'all must have been putting y'all big toe up in that album, because it was like, man, because you got our Last Resort on that, boy, and everything. And another thing I wanted to talk about, you mentioned it, was also growing as Africans over here, growing up, right, in over here, because we all in the diaspora, you know what I'm saying? And like, I remember I had, talked to Ragga Zulu Rebel, and I was telling him my experience about finally understanding there was African people over in Britain. I remember there was a show that used to come on when I was a kid. You was born in 86, I was born in 78, right? So it was a little show that used to come on BET, back when BET was, I don't even want to talk about BET now, that's a whole nother topic. But back when it used to be a show called Desmond's, right? And I used to watch this show, and it'd be like some West Indians. I was like, man, West Indians, them look like us. I was like, what the hell is a West Indian?
They not Indians?
They ain't no damn Indians, they black folks. And I was a little kid, but we grew up in Texas. They weren't talking about Africans being in the colonial relationship between Britain and how we have a colonial relationship with Britain. You know what I'm saying? They just remixed their name and turned themselves Americans, right? Mm-hmm. But I like the way which I brought up, I really want to take that in consideration, because we really started to listen to music from the UK like in 2010, like we would start listening to like Logic. I remember the song really, was like This Is Black History, and it had a whole bunch of people. And whenever you start saying, I was like, man, why? And, like I was telling Raggles, I be getting mad when you be lying to me about my people. I was like, man, I know so many of us up there. But you got to understand when you grow up here in the empire as an African, right?
It's the world.
They try to make you think this is the world. You see what I'm saying? So when you say rapping with a British accent, I like to hear what y'all are saying in the sense that it shows a different perspective that, since this is the empire, they try to focus everything on us. And you don't take into consideration that this music of ours, like from the corner, right? We don't take into consideration it's being blasted around the world. And other people are saying it, but we got other Africans who have a different accent. But like you're saying, since this one dominant thing, it's not because we some special Negroes over here, but it's because of our relationship to the empire, then it has you feeling, they felt a certain way. It was like, man, with the British accent, how would that sound? You know what I'm saying? With African. And then it ain't necessarily, just like I'm not necessarily speaking with an American accent. I'm not like, hi, golly gee whiz, guy, how's it going? Right? You got the patois accent, because I had to learn, we learn how black folks talk over there. It ain't the same as, excuse me now, bro, what time is it? Is it noon time? It's time for some tea. It's a little bit different, right? So you learn all this, and then learning, like you said, you mentioned grime, you know what I'm saying? It took me a while. I was like, man, what is grime?
Yeah, we've been trying to figure out what grime is.
I just see a lot of people, it's be a fast beat, and be like,
right.
we from Texas. I'm from Austin. She from Houston. It's screw. It's different over there.
So it's slow.
Man, hold up with that lane in my cup. What you talking about, boy? What your boy
it's
know?
The exact opposite.
No, the exact opposite.
I like that stuff, though. I like that stuff.
Yeah, so it's all, it's all African. I ain't tripping. And I liked how, like, when we was talking about independent artists, and how y'all move, because I think in the way y'all develop, a lot of it correlates to what we got to do in terms of nation building. Do you see what I'm saying? Like you say, definitely. What is the we are one? We're gonna progress together, and if we don't, it don't make no logic. Okay, the reflection. When I see you, I see myself. You see, so I really feel like more than just the smooth beats provided to you by Last Resort. Yes, more than that, it's bringing us together, and I get to know what it's not just me over here.
Right.
You see, it brings us to the world. And that's when you start learning. And like you said, all them elders said, man, why are you talking like this? It started to be a point when I started reading and knowing more that you can't really listen to the same shit no more. You can't do it. So where do you find these people? And then like you said, y'all born 86. I'm like, man, these boys is doing it. And people want to stay confined in their little African-American boxes. I don't even know no African-American is. When I meet one of them, I'm going to hurt them because that sounds like a contradiction. It's the slave and the slave master. I'm scared of them fools. Them Negroes are scary. But I just know Africans. That's all. And Negroes, I know some Negroes. I ain't going to lie. But that's...
We all do. We all
know them Negroes, don't we?
But like I was saying, brother, earlier on about, how, what should I say, it's just how you saying how, a lot of people could be saying, the right things, the most righteous things, the most sensible things, but they might not have the right production. Mm-hmm. They may not even be delivering it right, what I mean? The flow, probably the vocabulary. So music as a whole and everything, I mean, like you said, it's not just about the smooth beats, it's about everything as a whole.
Exactly.
And, that's something that I hope like a lot more artists kind of, master and get down on, because, we're living in an age where a lot of people are waking up. I mean, if you're not seeing what's happening today in the world, I mean, I don't know what's going on with you, but like in terms of that and in terms of the effect it has on people when it comes to music, yeah, don't get me wrong, say this, say that, say the right thing against it, speak against these injustices and yada, but at the same time, at least make it sound good and listenable. You don't want to be too preachy and you know what I'm saying? You got to have a certain balance with a certain balance to do it.
Yeah, and there's this whole thing where like a lot of the rappers here that are really like smart and intelligent, they got this thing where they where oh, they know a lot of big words, and it's like they saturate it with that, and it's like the listener on the general scale would be like, I can't even chill with this guy. He's smart, clever.
Yes.
I feel comfortable around this guy. This guy is like trying to be my teacher, like that I learned that from year 6, when I was 15 or whatever, you know. So it's all about what is making me kind of proud, and this is where we bring the essence of success. What is making me proud of what this kind of connection here is that, you know, when no matter what is said, no matter what is done, you leave listening to our music with a feeling. Same way we're going to leave this conversation with a feeling.
Definitely.
And that is the most important thing for I and I, the vibe and the energy and the feeling that you leave with, because you might not remember every lyric, but you're going to remember the feeling.
Right,
so,
that's right.
That's really important, and that's what I'm getting from what you're doing and what you kind of how you interact with us, and that's what a lot of MCs is kind of losing.
Yeah,
like all over the world, man. I'm checking out MCs from all over the world, all over Europe and thing, and yeah, man, they're losing it, man. A lot of good rappers, they don't care for feeling, and you can tell in their music because it's a feeling, right?
Oh yeah, exactly. It is the feeling, and like you said, you know, if you can, a lot of people want to like show what they know, but not show that they care, and they, you know, that. And I ain't trying to be all sappy, and I'm just saying, look, man, we speak. Like you got to learn how to. You don't have to learn how to speak to your people. You know how to speak to your people. That's the problem. You get you a colonial education to learn how not to speak to your people. Then you want to come back and show how much you know and say it, but then you lose them, right? Because if you can't break it down to the man, them, the fam, them, the gal, them, or my homeboys, my dogs, and them, you know what I'm talking about. You can't break it down to them, then you've lost the message. Nobody want to hear that you know how to say, yes, this is a very unctuous society amongst much which you live. Right. And this one's analyzing the political economy amongst. No, man, I don't want to hear that right now. You got to give me that feeling. And let me I want to say this, because this applies to myself. Sometimes, look, like what you say, Watusi, I'll always be a hip-hop baby. Forever be. What you say, I'm from the counter. Forever be a from the rapping flex. Yeah, okay. Anyway, and just like in stories, when in Mercury, what you say, I had this light-skinned girl. Yeah, and you know, stories, right? You know what I'm talking about? I remember that shit. I had me a story too. But the thing is, it apply to myself. Sometimes rapping just ain't for you. That's what I want to tell. If you want to do something for your people, that's why I love Garvey. Garvey said we need to build a nation. We need a little bit of rappers. We need some plumbers.
Different
jobs. We need different jobs. Now, there's some I can't do it. Okay, hey man, I used to be breakdancing back in the 80s and shit. And you know what I'm saying? I can't do that shit no more.
And he still try to rap a little.
But I be like, I can't got that breath control, bro. I be like, shit. But sometimes it ain't for you. Let the people who know how to do it. Leave them be. Let them do it. And I say that not to be mean to nobody, but it just is saying, if you know something, maybe you should put it in a book. Get you an audio book or something. Let RU1 family, let Last Resort take you to the tropics. Yeah, that's what I don't know why that's my line, man.
Not everyone is like, how do I say it? Not everyone. It's like you say, people may be good with words, but it doesn't mean everyone must be a singer.
Exactly.
You could just be a writer. You could write books. I mean, you could write for other people. Do you know what I'm saying? I think even Tupac said what? He said we don't need no more rappers and basketball players.
Yeah.
Saying, so you're definitely right, brother.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I want to go to the next question. And you know, it was something like I said, it's the vibe you get throughout the album, because like I said, I don't know how y'all put that album together, man.
I just told you.
Well, I'm just saying, man. Was it? What? Another one of my lines was, you waking up night to dark clouds, waking up now to dark clouds. I'm telling you, it was dark clouds about to rain over here too. I was like, man, Anyway, I'm sorry. Let me get back serious. Okay. Alrighty then. All right. Hello, is this RU1 fam? Okay. Yeah. So I want to talk to a theme that's throughout the whole album. It's something Magical has said on the track Reflection. In the group, he affirms the group's like one of the group's political position, mine as well, ours as well. not politically left or right. We try to center. And Zari and myself, we've had like many discussions. We were speculating on the profundity on that statement. I said, dang, that boy said, you can't be nobody's political pawn. But he said it like that. You see what I just said, the way with words? I can't do that shit, okay? I'm just going to say, look, man, if you African, you got to be African-centered. You can't be running around here thinking all that. See? But he said, not politically left or right. We tried to center.
Yeah, y'all have a way with words.
You know what I'm saying? But I guess that's why you do what you do, right? So we knew it didn't mean that with no middle-class aspirations and stuff because, that's all they talk about over here. It's election time. We need to build a strong middle class. That shit's over. There's no more. They don't ever talk about poor folks because there's no poor people in America. It's just people who make wrong decisions. Those damn black bastards. I don't like them. You know what I'm saying? That's pretty much what it is here. And so, like I said, we took from this statement that we as Africans, we can't be other people's political pawns and we need to focus. One of the things I hear throughout the whole album is like a focus on, like healing, and rebuilding. And, and unfortunately, like with the skit with ancestors and we were savaged by the blackest whites and stuff like that. And the skits, you getting this like griot thing that, that we were stripped of our humanity, and it made us insecure. And so a lot of times we think we have to appeal to other people when we really look at diversity, right? We got the most diverse sector of humanity within the African family. Just from a matter of fact, we've been spread out. You know what I'm saying? And really, if you really think about it, if you want to, how can you say, like, I don't understand people to be like, well, you can't just be black all the time. Well, that's a Negro. That's a Negro, right? And so I look at the Negro and I say, Negro, look, if you love yourself, then you can interact with other people and you can interact with them on a level of humanity. You won't care if they white or whatever. You can have beautiful relationships, building relationships with all people, but you got to be grounded in yourself first. You can't be no thrall. You can't be no slave. And I want some, if anybody could speculate kind of, was that what that lyric meant? Like, know thyself? And why is that important? Other than what I said, why is it important in that healing process? What, or were we just reaching on that? If you just go ahead and take it away. Anybody.
Oh, for myself, like, Magical was serious with words out of the ones. We're all good with words, but Magical was special with them. But like what you're saying, we can't be other people's pawns, really. We need to know ourselves. The truth is within all of us. And we need, like you're saying, we've been taken, our culture's been annihilated. A lot of us don't know where we're coming from, how we got here. Got a lot of outside sources coming at us saying, be this, do that, do this in society. Mm-hmm. You're underclass. This is what you're going to achieve. You can never achieve this level, etc., etc. So and then you get like, what's it, once every 5 years or something? There's an election, and it's like, so you're going to choose the left, you're going to choose the right, but
yes,
it doesn't work like that. Yeah, that's it. They want to take us down from either side, but it doesn't work like that. Right, we just need to be strong within ourselves. We just need to stand firm. That's why we say we are one. We are one by ourselves. We are one together. But first and foremost, for us to be one, I have to be one. So I have to be one with myself. I have to be able to pick out what I want from wherever and put it together like holistically. Mm-hmm. So it's just about moving together holistically. So you talk about nation building. So we need to be able to move forward as a nation, and benefit for us rather than just picking what a leader who's going to benefit the middle class people, the upper class people in our society. They're going to give us some promises of how they're going to do right by us, but as soon as they get put in power, they'll just squash everything, that just cut our budgets. So that's what's been, and that's the cycle. That's what's been going on ever since I've been born. Ever since I've been looking into politics and that. It's the same thing, same discussion. So we just need to just be ourselves, just be ourselves. That's really, that's what I take from it anyway. Still,
Yeah, no, it's amazing that you picked up on that statement. Not politically left or right. We tried to center, because when you recorded that, I was in the studio like, damn, that lyric is dope, man. It's so dope. Like, that's so heavy. Like, because it breaks down a lot in one sentence, you know, and
right.
that's kind of the beauty of like what we can do, you know. And it's kind of, we got influenced by or inspired by many others that made us feel like that, and it's just great to know that you feel like that too.
Yeah.
And it's like balance, innit? The balance is like you can't be either side. Either side might have some good points. So it's like we can't be one or the other. You know, it's like how are we gonna take aspects of each one to make that kind of motivate me or kind of encourage the things within myself, you know. And most of the time, there ain't one thing I'm hearing. I'm just being kind of empathetic, like in general, innit? But there ain't one thing normally I hear that makes me feel left or right. That's why it's all about me. I'm in the center, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm in the center of all the nonsense, you know what I'm saying? So we tried to center like that. And each one of us is going to have something like different to say about that kind of specific lyric. But we're going to kind of come in the middle somewhere. And that's where we center, innit?
It's like the left and right, because like the left and right, say the left wing and the right wing is still on the same bird, you know. So we just meet, it's center. So like even when we talk about centralizing ourselves, that's when we go into the spirit and even the chakra system and kundalini and them things there. So even learning them things there, then you can spread out. Then you can touch the issues on the left and you can touch the issues on the right, and you can just bring it together as one, you know.
Mm-hmm. And you don't have to be scared. Like people who are insecure are scared of being subsumed by that because they have no base. So if somebody on the left or the right says something that's true, you take it through your cultural base and you say, well, what are my interests? Like you said, how can I use that? Because sometimes they do say things that are true. Kwame Ture said, you know, sometimes a fool will tell you the truth, you know. So I paraphrase that, but you know, you have to have a center. That's why, like you said, it was like you can have a whole like 2-hour conversation about that one line. You know what I mean? Because it's so important to have a base, you know, and you won't get subsumed in somebody else's agenda, you know.
That's it. Otherwise, you're going to be, if you don't have a sensor, then you're going to be dragged from left to right.
Right.
Each time, let me go help out over there. Let me go over here. But you're just draining yourself. You're draining your energy.
And you're thinking, it's you going from left to right. But you're getting dragged there.
Right.
Thank you. And also, I want to say something before I forget. I want to say, just like you said about elections, your whole life, we was talking about that last night, remember? I was like, after a while, I mean, I remember I voted in my first election, and I don't vote no more. But I remember in 96, and I was like, you know, I was 18, and I was like, oh, yeah, this is cool. But, and you don't know nothing really because you've been brainwashed in the colonial propaganda, and then you don't see nothing happening. So when I see a bunch of these old fools, and I say that, and I don't take that shit back, who try to tell people vote, you don't influence that doesn't affect the economy, stupid. That ain't gonna do nothing for you. We ain't gonna get no ownership. Those neo-colonies in Africa ain't gonna stop being neo-colonies. The place that they call the hood that really is domestic colonialism ain't gonna stop being called that because you vote. Man, this thing run off the Chamber of Commerce, man. This is capitalism. And another thing about that damn left and right, that's why I like that line. And you think about it. What does it mean to be left and right when you're a part of an empire? It's imperialism. You got the left form of imperialism and you got the right one. One is trying to assimilate you, what they tell you after World War II, what they call World War II, where basically they were just redividing the world. What they say? They said, everybody in the islands from Jamaica, come home, come rebuild the mother country, a.k.a. Britain. What the hell am I going to rebuild that little funky ass island for? You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, you got to know who you are. That little rainy ass shit. You know what I'm saying? You can't even grow no vegetables, but they talking about a spot of tea. I know where you got the tea from. They sold the dope to the Chinese with the opium wars. Yeah, I know some history. I say know it all, but know who you are first. And ain't nothing wrong with that. But see, like you said, I ain't politically left or right. Yeah, they say some shit, but yeah, damn, it's unfair in America. Hell, we knew that when we got off the damn boat.
I know that's right.
Shit.
They the one just now realizing it.
Just now realizing. The Bill rights. Oh my God.
What are we gonna do without the Constitution?
Yeah, I ain't never had the motherfucker.
Know that I'm taking my mind back. So many lessons in life, I'll define that. I see so much is going wrong, so I rhyme that. Babylon want me to beat on my brother with my 9 strapped. But I'm not afraid of a fight, Jack. Just like you will never be afraid of a white cat. Message, I wonder why it is like that. Why do my brothers have to die over white crap? I am searching to find facts. Jaja only knows how and if I'm on the right track. But I'm running 5 laps, and real recognize real, that's a life fact. Enough of them I worship money, I despise that. I'm gonna take another breath, but who decides that? The sun is shining on my face, I like that. The system's trying to change my ways, I'll fight that. I'm in a war zone, for little herbs some hypocrites can run up in your home. While I'm on the floor zoned, humble and meditating on mysteries, you're stoned. Vividly, visually envisioning what's to come. Lyrically, spiritually, in living what's in the sun. In prison, living in England, but spitting clips like a gun. Dwelling in Zion, walking and winning, fire for fun.
Get up for the real life hip-hop. No, it's us when it's real life hip-hop. No, it's love when it feels like hip-hop. We live wrong, will it stop? I think not. Get up for the real life hip-hop. No, it's us when it's real life hip-hop. No, it's love when it feels like hip-hop. We live on, will it stop? I think not.
We can sit and suggest or make life manifest. I realise that time is a test. Every day reminded of death through the fires that they send. I realise there's no rest for the blessed. I don't wanna live in the cold and be a victim to old. I realise it's my time for conquest. Receiving gifts of the globe while the shifting poles. I realise the steps to progress. I can't forget times for upset. Mindless puppets trying to sway me in their reach and clutches. Signs of darkness, hiding answers. Try to pray thee to teach us oneness. Peace and justice, we be our success. I'm asking bravery, see what love is. Peaceful hunters with lethal touches. No longer daydream, we see the wonders.
Get up for the real life hip-hop. No, it's us when it's real life hip-hop. No, it's love when it feels like hip-hop. We live wrong, will it stop? I think not. Get up for the real life hip-hop. No, it's us when it's real life hip-hop. No, it's love when it feels like hip-hop. We live wrong, will it stop? I think not. Rap precision. Now let's play a game of catch the rhythm. We provide food for thought and provision. See a brighter day every time I have a vision. Yo, we ran for a cause, but that's a given. Coming at different angles like a mathematician. Mad ambition, thanks is given for a bag of wisdom. Attacking villains, a sacrilege through activism. They be getting pleasure through pain like masochism. I won't give them the satisfaction. Holding rap for rap to catch the caption. I won't gas the night and stand as champion. Whack lames, act strange, soon as they have fame. Back again, watch their blood bubble like champagne. Spat flames with a lion's mane, I abstain while they're insane. Hit rock bottom like the crack game, what you see. Trying to not let these streets put a slug through me. Some things ain't as easy as 1, 2, 3. I clench my fist tighter than a young Bruce Lee. Where it's unruly and the people ain't had enough. Still spreading love cause the evil won't sadden us. Now get it up, get it up, get it up. Get up for the real life hip-hop. No, it's us when it's real life hip-hop. No, it's love when it feels like hip-hop. We live wrong, will it stop? I think not. Get up for the real life hip-hop. No, it's us when it's real life hip-hop. No, it's love when it feels like hip-hop. We live wrong, will it stop? I think not.
Aim for the target, they don't leave blood stains on the carpet. This thing's running out of juice, let me charge it. These fruity guys, you can find them on the market. They say you're funny fam, I can't stop laughing. I say it's peak, now they wanna give us markings. Riot police on the roadsides marching. Fighter jets and drone planes departing. Why can't we all get along? I'm asking. I swear down fam, I feel we're the last kings. If you like nice vibes, come past you. If you don't, we just breeze right past you. In and out of you, just like fast food. Dangerous head get silence in the classroom. We flow over rhythms with nice tunes. Road running, but this ain't no cartoon. We're coming.
Get up for the real life hip-hop. No, it's us when it's real life hip-hop. No, it's love when it feels like hip-hop. We live wrong, will it stop? I think not. Get up for the real life hip-hop. No, it's us when it's real life hip-hop. No, it's love when it feels like hip-hop. We live wrong, will it stop? I think not.
why we created the website, one of the reasons, several reasons, but is to show like the importance of everyday struggle and, you know, like struggle on the ground. And not only just going out and protesting and raising a fist and, you know, like actual everyday, like when y'all make an album, you know, the daily process of saying, okay, let's put this together, let's do this mix, that kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like the stuff that's not glamorous, where you're not going to be like, hey, look at me, you know? And so, you know, when you understand the political economy, you know that the mainstream, all they're going to give you is the state line. They give you the state line and they make you think that there's no resistance going on. And if it is some resistance, those people are crazy, you know, basically. And there's some reason why they need to go home and they need to get a job. That's what they say. And, you know, we talk about this group a lot, but that's the most radical group that they have on the media now.
We put radical in quotes.
In quotes, yes, in quotes, is Black Lives Matter. Okay,
and
they on CNN.
I just got to say this. Shout out to Isis Star, track with Y2C87. We shouldn't have to tell you that our Black Lives Matter.
Exactly.
So that's all I got. Keep going. I just want to throw that in there, but go ahead. Keep going.
Yes, exactly. They're talking to Hillary Clinton and they're teaching her about racism like she didn't know, you know, stuff like that.
Teaching her?
Yeah, like they're meeting with her and stuff.
Yeah, you can go on YouTube and see that this dude sitting up here talking about, I want to know what's in your heart. Man, we talking about power. Hillary Clinton, they want to know what's in her heart. And you got Bill Clinton, the raper of Haiti, and they sitting up here talking about what's in your heart. These Negroes. We can talk later about it.
But can you talk about like you know, because we know y'all travel and you know y'all do shows, so y'all see a lot of people. Like with y'all's interactions with people, like what type of resistance have y'all seen? You know, real like not, you know, state sanctioned resistance. You know what I'm saying?
Besides, and also I just want to add in that because y'all are a level of resistance.
Right,
that's why
exactly.
we're talking to you're a living proof that like you can redefine success and you can switch polarities and you can have an African base. And in the midst of all this neoliberal catastrophe, you know what I'm saying? You know, what you say, you can't, in the 80s, that was Margaret Thatcher. You know what I'm saying? That's Ronald Reagan. We came through the crack era. Y'all talk about on the album, the crackers and all that. We were savaged by the Black Panthers, the gangbangers. We seen all that shit. You know what I'm saying? So, and you are a level of resistance. So what did you say, guess the question, like she said, was what is your take on the pulse of people when you interact with people on the daily? How are they responding to this shit? In your own words, whoever wants to take that.
Boy, I'll take it. I travel a lot. I traveled a lot over the last 5 years, and surprisingly, the most resistance I see within the people is within London, and that's not because London is so special. It's because London has a lot of so-called minority groups within it. So you got the West Africa, a lot of Africans here. Talking Africans, people that were born there. You got a lot of Africans in terms of African from the diaspora. You've got a lot of Palestinians. You got a lot of everything basically. And while we're here, we kind of, when we do shows, it's like when it's not our people, we getting people from Afghanistan coming up to us because they relate to the struggle because they have some form of struggle themselves. So it's a shame. It's a shame in one way, and it's beautiful in another way that when I go to Jamaica, the people have it so hard that their resistance is not against the state. Their resistance is that they're just naturally rebellious. So anyone, even their friend, if they do something that they don't like, they're gonna blaze on fire, which is good on one level. But it's like a lot of the time we're not getting the avenues of or access to the teachings of how to channel. So we become reactors instead of actors. And this is what is kind of like happening a lot. But right here in London, we've got a lot of things growing right now. And interacting with people on a day-to-day level, we kind of get more kind of like, it's like subtle stick. It's like subtly people generally they don't really know what we're on and they don't really respect it because we're not really on what they're on, you know. But within our little subcultures, like which can be 100 strong, 1,000 strong sometimes, we get a lot of kind of people coming up to us. But normally, people don't really feel comfortable in England. We got this kind of thing where, you know, a lot of it's kind of socially accepted to be by yourself and be a recluse, even when you're around a lot of people. It's kind of acceptable. So until we break them out of that, so we kind of try to be the examples of that type of rebellion that you're hearing in the tracks, just day-to-day rebellion, so people can feed off that and people can bounce off that. And generally they do. And it's generally people from all sorts of cultures that have been oppressed. When it comes to our own people, it's generally our friends and our family members. But most of us have got family members that not really in on what we're doing. Most of us,
yes, we do. That is true.
Most of us are like one of the only ones within our families that are one. So day-to-day interactions is a proper struggle. So that's why it's appropriate to be calling us RU1 and not that like we making a statement that the oneness is like every second of the day. You know, sometimes you got to really work at it, you know, and you got to keep on answering that question so it doesn't become a contradiction, you know. Like sometimes, you know, everyone can have the temperament to get a bit out of character, but it's not out of character. It's just a part of the self that you're not really familiar with because it's not really like close to the center like that, but it's still a part of you. So like everything we do, we kind of like try to embrace that interaction. So where I work with the youths, that's my form of rebellion. I work with the youths in North London and stuff where they have it worse than a lot of places in London. I work with the youth. We burn weed. We don't eat meat. We kind of, you know, that's our forms of rebellion. When people need to get blazed with the fire, we blaze them up. You know what I'm saying? We don't respect police. We love our elders. We love our people. This is our form of rebellion, and it transpires in everything we do. So when we go on stage now is when we normally get a lot of people coming up to us. And then like when we see them after, they kind of get infused by that and remind themselves of that and come up to us on those levels. And that's kind of on a day-to-day level. But generally, on a kind of general basis, people kind of respect us enough to kind of let us do what we do. And those who really feel it, let us know. And that's all in like aspects of just who we are, you know, as well. And that's the rebellion that we kind of promote on a day-to-day level, you know. So yeah, I hope that answers the question. I don't know, I might have been ranting a little bit.
And you know, that's what it really is, because we did a show like one of the first episodes we played. There's this book called Catastrophism that we have on our website, and I think that's what they like to think that like the rebellion and resistance or revolution is going to always just somebody blazing a gun, but it is that slow day-to-day process of development. That's why we had the question earlier about like, what do y'all do to develop your rhyme skills and stuff like that? Y'all doing like, you know, some squat thrusts, some curls. We saw on the video One Love. Y'all had brothers doing some pull-ups and shit. Y'all was walking around. You know, you get, you know, staying fit. But I think it's that, you know what I'm saying? Y'all was in there working out. I'm gonna go to the gym after that shit. One love, one live. I'm gonna be singing that shit. But that's the important thing. And like you said, and it's a sad fact that, like you just said, a lot of times us Africans, man, we'd be the only one in the family to say they African and trying to push it forward. But you don't really need a mass right now. You know what I'm saying? It's like people, like I remember reading something from Amos Wilson. He said, you know how we can get this nationalist thing, people respect it because they'll see you doing it, and then you'll see you can able to bring jobs, and we can get stronger together. Because that's how we got to do it. If we make each other stronger. You know what I'm saying? And that was some of the internal contradictions, you know, when you start having in Africa, and I'm reading, you know, like Chancellor Williams, when you have too much aristocracy, you know what I'm saying, and stuff like that, we got to say we all in the same, and not from no Marxist perspective, you know what I'm saying, because that comes from a whole different cultural basis. Although I say read Marx as well. But like you said, it is that every day. It's not, that wasn't random at all. It is going to be like, your first thing, what you do in the morning? What do we do? What y'all do today? Y'all woke up. Hopefully we brushed our teeth. I know I did this morning, okay? So we woke up, brushed our teeth, get you some water. It's that. It starts with that. The time is now, but it starts with that little steps. And it's not like, oh, are you engaged in revolutionary change right now? No, man, I'm about to go to the grocery store, dog. Oh, for real? Is there a revolutionary change happening up there? No, it's not. I'm just going to give me something to eat. Man, that didn't sound revolutionary. Aren't you a black revolutionary? Oh, my God. Something like that. No, it's the everyday grind, and then slowly. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
You go to get. I'm not walking to get my food thinking, F the system, fuck the system, and I want to do. I'm hungry right now. Food is the only thing that's on my mind.
Right.
After that, then maybe I can get something.
And the system don't want us to be healthy.
No, they don't. Exactly.
So, if we go put food in our body, that's rebellion the same way. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Just like you said, y'all was saying you need a balance. You can't be too preachy, and you can't be like, ooh, the revolution all the time. And then you become some kind of weirdo.
But and that's not even how the quote unquote revolution manifests itself. It manifests itself in your daily acts.
Right.
It's kind of
exactly.
like
how you act.
You don't find spirituality in a book. You live it. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to read about treating people right. You kind of just do it. You know what I'm saying? But you gotta have some theory behind it. Like you said, when you're talking about Jamaica, have some. Now you can't just be oppositional and rebellion, but channel it. You know what I'm saying? Think about it. But that is it. It's not, does it have a revolutionary tag on it?
Right.
Then that's not it.
It's not real.
They're going to give me a bottle of water. That's what I'm about to go do. I'm thirsty. Shit.
Yeah. And to add to what you're saying, in terms of the traveling and thing, us here and you guys over there, we kind of know what the West is about.
Yeah.
And when we go outside, they've kind of been fed an idea, and they haven't had access to anything else. So we kind of in pole position when it comes to a whole global perspective of rebellion and anything else really, and that's a lot of what I see. So it's like the energy's there because it's within us, always there. But it's like, boy, you have to break a few glasses and shake up a few windows and thing before you realize that it's really that serious. Some people don't realize how serious it is. And it's not because they ain't warriors. It's because they haven't had access to that kind of brain process, or people haven't been around with that kind of mentality. So that's when we go to those places, us just being there. And if we're real within ourselves, everyone's going to feel it. So when I go Africa, no matter where I am, they see me as an African. They don't see me as someone that was born in West London or South London or whatever, Mm-hmm. They see me as an African. And that's because that's what I am. And I know it. But those who don't know it, they're not being that, but it's not that it's not within them, you know what I'm saying? So yeah.
Yeah. You mentioned that it was just your family members, not just your family members, but a lot of the time your family members come. And we're going to talk, we have another quote from Ara. We really love Aikwe Arma because he talks about how we need to basically let go of this idea of blood ties and look at all Africans as one family. Not saying that we get rid of our immediate family, but you know what I mean? It's like, stop being so rigid, because so many people get caught up in, well, this is my family and I'm just worried about my family, as if some kind of way their family lives in a bubble and nothing that's going on in the world is affecting their family as long as they, go and get a job and provide for their family or whatever, but then they treat everybody else like crap. So the idea is like what we were talking about in the beginning, is finding other people, regardless of if they're in your family or not, other people who know what we need to do, as Africans, to come back and be able to stop living the way we have to live. You know what I mean? So I thought that was important to say.
Yes.
Y'all had anything to add to that? I'm sorry.
But that it just all adds in, I suppose. That's important because we got to see us as a family. That's the only way we're gonna nation build, innit? That's how Garvey did it.
Mm-hmm.
We need to we need to buy black, support black, all those things there. Even over here in England, when you're talking about earlier on, brother mentioned about seeing this as the fatherland or the motherland, England as the motherland. Like my grandparents came over here, like when my dad was a little boy, like from Jamaica, seeing that this was being promoted as the fatherland, England.
Yup.
Paid gold. My nan said when she first got off that plane, she wanted to go straight back to Jamaica. Like she couldn't believe it. But she didn't, and she's here. But she's like, from her generation, like there hasn't been a lot of building, you could say, like with regards to the blacks from the diaspora. But if you look at the Asians who come over here, maybe a decade after them, where they've got their own towns on lock, they own buildings, their own restaurants. They have 10 people that will come over to one house, rent out the house till they buy it, and then buy another one until they all have their own house. Like whereas our mind frame hasn't been on that as a whole. Everyone's on that individualism thing. No one wants to support each other all the time. That's why, so it comes together. We've got to see each other as one. We've got to see ourselves as one and support our own. That's where you have your little goals, your small goals, your small successes. Just build and build over generations. And I just think it all just ties in. So.
It does tie in. It's like that's how you know we one people, because you think about what you just said. It's exactly the same. Do you understand what I'm saying? You can go, the Asians, they will have that on lock, but you got to understand what I was talking to somebody and they were saying the same thing from a very anti-black perspective. We ain't shit, niggas ain't shit, we ain't shit. Look at them, and you got to say, well, hold up, who in it? What are we speaking right now? English. People when I grew up, they said, "What's your Christian name?" And I always was like, "What the hell does that shit mean?" Right? I said, your Christian name. And I said, well, if I'm an African, why don't I speak African language, right? And nobody has been done the way we've been done. And nobody has been done. And I'm not saying that to say, I'm just, and little resistance like what we're doing now goes a long way, because nobody, let's just look at the history of African people, right? The first one was the trans-Saharan slave trade. We talking about what the Arabs did to us. You see what I'm saying? And we don't want to talk about, a lot of us don't even want to talk about that one, because especially over here, because this white man over here was kicking our ass so bad, we turned to Islam, right? And we say that's the black man's true religion. I don't get on nobody's religion. I'm just saying, if you better have a religion of Africa if you're African. And so the whole point is we left one and went to the other. I'm not saying that against Arab people, but I'm just saying, as an African, right? We got to know, if we looking for a friend, what John Henry Clark said, we got to look in the mirror. You got to understand, those people have a long memory of their history. That's why they can do it. We think we came into being when they said the fatherland was that rotten, filthy, stanky ass island over there. When they said, we from Texas, and they said, come to California, migrate, because the crackers was lynching us over here. You see, that's the problem we got. And that's why they can have them. Even there's some contradictions within their own side. I know some Asian people. I got some Asian friends, and I know they deal with that white supremacy as well. But they do have a long view of history. That's what we are working from, a deficit. But we're going to get it back. Because it's been a long time coming. But once we look around and we get these borders off our head, I see an African over there. Damn. You know what I'm saying? People talking about they want to, get together and hook up interracially, man. You can hook up diasporally or whatever the hell. Because there's so many different types of African people. Do you see? And I say, like you said, we weren't doing that building. Same as over here. I dare somebody say we ain't one same people when I can hear what you just said and it touched my soul, because it's the same. Ain't nobody building over here for us. Like you just said, man, sometimes people in your family, what's wrong with that nigga right there?
Yep.
He into that black stuff.
He going through a phase.
I've been going through the black stuff since 1978. Shit, since I was born. And if I ain't going through the black thing, what should I be going through?
What should I be going through?
So I'm sorry, I got a little emotional. I'm sorry.
It's good. It's real. Like, I feel the same way. It's good to hear that though. Like even talking about successes, like from us having this interview with you now, from like you're saying, the same people, same type of people from across the sea, you know, and we're just discussing like what we discuss regularly, and just talking about building, nation building. That's a big success. That's like makes you think that I'm glad we put out the album. Like, this is basically like,
we are too.
We are too.
A few years ago, when we was just rappers that said, "Oh, look, we got a cool name. What can we do as MCs? What can we do? Are we just rappers, or are we people that actually can do something? And what is it?" And it's all these type of things that will come into conversation. Like, all right, we need to link people from over the seas, interviews with people from over the seas, do this, videos here, shows here, organize our own shows, stack some money, do this, get our own t-shirts. No. And in 3 years, it's all been done. So like, we can't pretend that we ain't successful, because, you know, like, that's blasphemy. You know what I'm saying? That's when it all gets stripped away, and then like tomorrow we're like, oh yeah, those were the good days. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, this is beautiful. This is beautiful. No matter what we say, even you say, yeah, you might be right, and I say I might be right. No matter what we say, it's gonna be blessed. It's gonna be blissful, standard. You know what I'm saying? What happens, because it's natural mystics, you know.
Okay, so we're back, and that was RU1 Fam. And if you want to listen to this entire interview, okay, you want to, all you have to do is, as always, go to conscientization101.com or c101magazine.com and subscribe today. And when you read the subscription benefits page, you will see how you will get access to not only this interview, but all of our interviews, and much more. So check out the subscription benefits for full details. Remember, you're supporting 100% independent media. This episode has featured sounds from RU1 Fam from their collaboration album with Logic, We Are One. The tracks were Highest Grade, featuring Michael Lloyd Pink, We Are One, From the Corner, and Time Is Now, featuring Adam Howergan. Also, you heard their track Real Life Hip Hop from their EP, I Am One. So we would like to thank RU1 Fam once again for being on the show. We really enjoyed it. And if you want the latest updates from RU1 Fam, check them out on Twitter at RU1 Fam, and that's R, the letter R, U, the letter U, 1, the number 1, and Fam, F-A-M. Their Facebook is RU1 Fam, the same thing, but it's a hyphen in between the RU1, and Instagram at RU1 Fam, same thing, RU1 Fam. And here's what they got coming up in the future.
Right now, we've got album recorded. It's recorded. We're just working on the kind of, working on the quality of it and making sure it works as a product. That's where we at right now. Magical's working on something by himself. I've got a few projects as well coming through. Looking to release them next year, at least 2 next year. Mercury, he's got a good few coming, at least 1 solid one. And so we kind of bubbling like that. And African Revolution, that's kind of our foundation. That's a band. That's kind of RU1 is an extension of African Revolution, kind of like the rappers of the African Revolution kind of devoted to hip hop, and we kind of bring that to the table as the African Revolution. So the African Revolution is musically off the hinges. So it's like a 13-piece band, and African Revolution has got something coming, album that we're working on, finishing up. It's quite nearly finished. So it's really exciting. And then we still got to promote the We Are One album more and kind of revisit things that we've already done. And we've got a whole heap of kind of side projects that are and side visuals that we're working on as well.
All right, thanks Watusi. So again, thanks to RU1 Fam. We enjoyed you, And we want everybody to remember to check us out on Twitter at Conscien1. That's CONSCIEN and the number 1. On Facebook at Conscientization 101 and Instagram at C101 Editors. So that's where you can find out the latest on what's coming up in 2016 for the site. It's going to be really cool. We would like to thank everyone for making the website a success for this year, and from our web designers to the people who interview with us, and most importantly to all our supporters, and an extra special shout out to our subscribers. It really means so much that you find value in what we do, and it keeps us going. So thank you very much. We got some really cool stuff in store. And that's it for this year. So we want to leave you with a flow, a special flow that Y2C87 dropped for C101. And we are out. See you next year. Peace.
Do it like that. I spat from here to Iraq. I come with the freestyle track where my lines at. Embrace that. Gotta taste that. Gotta face facts from way back. Where the slaves at. Where the free man. In these lands where brothers will kill you for $3 grand. I take it there. I take it there like Campbell Ferry. Make me take them there for many, many, or many more. For the simile and the metaphor, get ready for the times is now. The rhymes is loud, coming through your scalp, higher than the Alps. Take it there one more time, 3 more time. Free your mind, seize your time. Clench it. Even the Englishman was taught English to speak it. How we said it was not how we meant it. He didn't think it. It wasn't right. Spirit wasn't in sight. The vision wasn't united with random in the kingdom. The kingdom is here. The kingdom is near. So stay sincere and be aware. Yeah.